Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel. I'm back again. Second video today. That's 2 days of 2 videos. Tomorrow, 3 videos. The fuck? That'll be 9 videos in 1 week. What's wrong with me? I thought this was going to be an easy week too. Very relaxing. What can I do for you, Mr. Cat? Just coming over to hang out? Bump into shit? This guy. Rawr. Today, more of the GarageBand song that I'm producing, creating, whatever you want to call it. Today, I'm using the Dancing Queen lead preset. Heavy sounds. Mainly for EBO stuff. I've got, I don't know, I think 6 tracks of EBO on this one. Well, might be a little much. And a crunchy rhythm part to soften up the bridge section. All right, we're back at the computer and I have done some stuff with the EBO. Now, I started, actually the first thing I did today, let me show you, was to add a little bit of something fun to this particular bit. Now we have these 2 pieces, or this piece right here. Nope, nope, nope. Can't do that. This thing. That little run up, which I like a lot, but I doubled it and I used a fun effect on it. So what I did to it was I'm using some of the GarageBand effects. I'm using the rotary cabinet and I have it on the fast setting, and it's just a really fun post effect. And a lot of reverb, a lot of ambience, a lot of reverb. And then when you mix the 2 together, it just makes it more, just more fun, more interesting. Plus I panned it off hard to the right. Cool. The next thing that I came across was this particular section was a little bit harsh. Having this really percussive guitar coming up here. So that's the main section where I had, or it's the only section where I have all of the EBOs. So what I wanted to do was soften it up a bit. And the first thing I did was to click this thing right here, and that allows you to automate the volume. And all you need to do is to click on the little volume line and then create a point where you will make some changes. I don't want to do any changes to this one, so I'll get rid of that. But what I did was I clicked a point here, and you need to click 2 starting points, or 2 points, one for the start and one for the change. And now then I brought the just drag this one down from, it's been 6.6 down to -13 dB. And then when we get to the end, it sort of comes back up by itself. It builds up during that point. Now, to try and soften this a little bit further, I added another guitar. Well, you don't need to do that. Let's go back, and I added a crunchy guitar because I wanted this bit to be a little bit less percussive. So here's what we get. And it might not seem like it, but it's a better bed for EBO stuff than just the just that. And I've still got to do some mixing on it, but it's a fun change, and it gives it some textural difference. Now, I added the EBOs And there's a bunch of them. So let's go through the first one. And I'm going to show you some of my mixing things that I do. And I always do this with EBO tracks because they can be kind of harsh. And so first thing we'll do is we're going to solo this one. And I've got the marker, or the loop recorder set so that we can just listen to it over and over and over. Now, the first one, let me get rid of the EQ and we can hear it in its raw state. I also did one of these things with the volume on these bad boys, and I'm going to demonstrate it with this last one. Now, with the first three, the volume has a nice natural slope to it, and this particular one down here does not, because I left this alone so I can demonstrate. And a lot of times when you do an EBO track, you've got to start the recording before you get to the point where you want to, because sometimes it takes a little time for the EBO to catch up. So I always start a little bit early and then make sure that the note is right there when I get there, like on this one. But you don't want to hear that in the final mix. So what we're going to do is we're going to find this point right here, and this stationary line right here shows you where everybody starts and stops. So I can just make this point the same as the others and then go back over to this point. Now we've got the same points, and then just drag this one down. I'm a little anal, so I go back to the start, drag it down to 0. That's the way I did it with all of them. So now we'll hear a nice smooth rise. And if we listen to the first track, you can hear how raw it is. I did a really heavy vibrato on it. Now I EQ it. Oopsie. Uh-oh. I'm on the wrong track. There we go. So now let me play it for you. Sorry. It's a little harsh. Put the EQ on it. It softens it up. And I added another one. And then I added another one. And another one. We need to set the ending point like I did with the others here, the fade on the final EBO. Just hit a point there. Match the other points roughly. It doesn't have to be exact. And then drop it down. Now we can hear how they fade out nicely. And I also added some sort of pseudo melody-ish bit. And then, let's see, let's hear that. And I did an octave above with single notes. And the only way you'll hear it is if I get rid of the EBOs, because I want it to be really subtle. And here's the top one. And when you mix the two together, there's a lot of vibrato, a lot of noise, but the entire section now has a bit different feel to it. And a very, it's kind of a crowded mix at the moment. I'm going to have to do a bunch of EQing to mellow things out. I've also done some stuff to the drums up here where I made them follow the bass in this particular section. So just clicked on the follow, set it to the to whatever the name of the bass or the number of the bass is, and it is different now on that section. So I could probably mellow out the fills on it and make it a little bit even less. Let's see what that does. Didn't look like it did anything. There we go. Now, even less fills. All right, so we've mellowed out the fills. Now, if we play the just the core band in that section. And drum break. So that's what's happened today. Are there any other mixy things that I've done? I don't think so. I did a lot of panning with the EBO. I always do that. The first two are panned hard, right and left. And they're playing the same note. One's an octave above. Then the next pair is panned less hard, left and right. They're also doing the same notes. So we've got a bit of a little little quartet of EBOs, which is fun. And if we go back to the intro, I made some changes to these bits right here as well. The counterpoint guitars, I re-recorded them. And I re-recorded them because I used the Crapcaster, and I came up with some really fun sounds for it. So here's what I got. And that's the setting that I think sounds so much like a Rickenbacker. And then when I add that to the neck pickup setting, or the combination neck and middle pickup, it makes for a really full-bodied sound that's got everything. Because if you take away one, the other just doesn't have it. It's missing that top end. So, and I've got them panned to the same direction because I want them to be a counterpoint, not only to sonically, but as far as the mix goes. And, because we've got this other main guitar off to the left. So, just a bunch of mixing to do tomorrow and adding some melody and moving on up. There you go, everybody. More good time GarageBand fun for you. Tomorrow, I'm going to do the mixing, a little bit more tracking because there's still no melody to speak of. And I want to put a melody over that. And then we'll go through the mixing process. I've showed you some of it today, but more EQing happens during the mixing process. And I'm also going to do two more videos tomorrow. One is a demo of some new IRs that someone sent me. And I can't remember the name of the company, but I'll tell you tomorrow because I will be, I'll be prepped on it. And then I'm also going to do a Preset Friday. And I've created the preset already, and I used it earlier today for the Somebody to Shove sound. It's a good one. It's very heavy. It's called Super Heavy. It's super. Thanks for asking. So, I will see you tomorrow. And until then, rock on.